love somebody forever, no matter what.
Damn.
Oh, boy was like, I saw you, man. I saw your face. You know, can you show up and love somebody for the rest of your life, even when you don't agree with them? There ain't nobody on earth except you, mommy. You, mommy. My mommy. I almost messed up. Jada's the best friend I have ever had on this planet. I am going to show up for her and support her for the rest of my life.
All right, so let's talk about Will and Jada and Will, right? You know, obviously they broke the internet over the past few days, as we suspect it was gonna be. So she broke the internet. I haven't gotten the book yet. I will. I did promise I was gonna get the book, but let's see here. That's not it. Let's see. Share this instead. There you go. All right. So we're talking about Will and Jada. There's some updates. Okay. We already talked about the updates. There's some unpopular. My opinion here was the unpopular opinion, right? And very, very aware of that. You guys are aware of that if you've seen some of the videos, right? Tima says to go back to your maiden name. Yeah, that's the process. It takes a process. It's not as simple as running to social media to change names. So gentlemen, don't overreact to that. Just focus on the actual work you need to do if you want your family back, and don't overreact to that if you see that. Obviously, if you're filing paperwork in court, it's probably already too late. All right, so let's talk about the children had something to say. And the children allegedly, sources said that they know he has been going through a lot lately. They're talking about their father Will, right? And this isn't helping. The sources are saying, okay? I doubt it, okay? And I'll tell you why I doubt it in a second. From all the recent headlines about their parents' secret separation, Trey Smith, Will's son from his previous marriage, reportedly shared the same sentiment. Okay. They said Will and Jaden Smith reportedly feel bad for their dad. Wish family matters remained private. They wish family matters remain private. I always advocate to keep your stuff private, because monitoring spirits have spirits and they have power. Okay. You might think you got this. They might push you to do what you don't want to do, such as slapping another man on the stage, even if you toasted your wife. Anyway, they wish some of their family's private matters remain private. The insider claimed, alleging that Will has been trying to stay busy by hanging out with his good friends and his kids. The source added, he's trying not to let any outside noise impact him. That must be a lot of work, huh? Because this monitoring spirit will impact how you feel. Before you know it, you could just start to do shalaye after you don't slap somebody, right? So that is the thing. That's one of the reasons why I don't think anybody should act macho and pretend like the rest of the world does not have power or influence over them. The world has influence over your world around you, has influence over you. You have influence over them as well. But again, as usual, you need to be aware that the world, your environment has influence on you. Don't do any macho, I got this, all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work out well. It never really works out well. Okay. All right. So, but this whole thing around their oversharing, they're sharing too much. They're sharing too much. They're sharing too much information about themselves, and I have the same sentiment. I just don't think the way we interpret that indicates the health of their relationship. I actually think their relationship is probably healthier than 99% of these relationships out here. Okay, why? What do you mean? Because of what they've been through, precisely, right? They have context. They have context that many holier than thou people, right, don't have, right? So there's a good chance that they're able to engage humility more than everybody else. When you haven't found yourself inside of enough poto, there's still a sense of pride that creeps into you. Unknowingly, it's not your fault. You don't really realize you're doing it, right? You just feel like, you start with things like, you'll never be me. Yeah, most people thought it was never going to be them, right? Most people. Like, most people have moral compass. Believe it or not, most people are not evil, right? So, yeah. D-Love says, MOP, I rewatched yesterday's show as I wanted to understand your point of view, and now I do. I'm still confused as I think their arrangement is what you have when love is out. Please educate me if I'm wrong. I think I just kind of explained it. When you get to a space in life, when you've seen what you're capable of as a human being in terms of your imperfections, right? Especially when you're a smart, intelligent person and you find yourself in positions that you're like, you never thought that would be you, right? If you don't think it's cheating, it's probably not going to be cheating. It's going to be something else. But you thought it would never be you, right? When you find yourself, let's say, for example, you always knew how to make money. You made like stupid amount of money and then you go broke. And you've told yourself, you know what you're doing, you'll never go broke. Oh yeah, you get humbled, right? You will have humility. So what you probably learn how to do is learn how to use the forces of nature in your favor. Okay? You learn how to use... Hold on 1 second. Oh, sorry about that. I knew something was singing. Right? You learn how to use force as opposed to leaning on your own understanding. Right? What the world is doing today is leaning on their own understanding. There's nothing wrong with being smart and intelligent, but you're better off. I always talk about intentionality. There's nothing wrong with being intentional, but make sure you add emotional intelligence to it, right? Most people that claim to be intentional, they're disconnected from emotional intelligence. They don't see emotions as the biggest variable in all of it, right? They just see 1 + 1 must equals to 2. If it's not equals to 2, they tell you are stupid. And the reality is that there's an X, there's an unknown, right? And see how I just said it? That's some of the gift that I have. I can say there's an X, like the unknown, things that you probably will never know for the rest of your life. There is that. For that reason, there's a certain level of humility that you must approach, right? That is a very difficult thing for us to do as human beings until you've gone through a certain level of experience, right? Usually very negative, right? You felt it as negative. Like she said, people are mad that her relationship is not perfect. She's mad too. She's like angry. She's just as angry, right? So the children are on the outside of that romantic relationship, which I do think they have romantic relationship. Like, what do you think? Talk about we're doing life, we're learning, we've learned so much. How many people that that are in romance do that? Okay, they don't even know how to hold simple hands, right? Without saying what is all this after 27 years, right? So it's just it's not an arrangement. I don't think they have an arrangement. I think they have something that people need to start paying attention to, and I think it's going to be very difficult because all they can see is August and Tupac, and I understand, right? But precisely because of August and Tupac, they are on this part of this, they're on this other side of romance that most people will probably not understand. Why? Because they zone in on the judgmental, anything that looks like you can judge. Because we all judge, right? So anything that looks like I can look at and say this is right, this is wrong, that's what we zone in on, right? As opposed to, all right, that one is there, this is wrong, okay, but let's look at everything else here, right? And to get past that is very difficult, and that's what I understand. So I don't think it's more so an arrangement. I guess maybe you can call it an arrangement, but if it's arrangement to I've been on that side where you know that you're not really in control of anything, and if you call it arrangement, to just count on God. If you call it arrangement, to say, you know what, the forces you're not you don't fight flesh. You're fighting principalities. You're fighting all type of things that beyond you, right? And if you want to apply intelligence, make sure that's included as a variable. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with intelligence like IQ, right? But make sure you know there's always an X factor. The same reason why they stay in the lab, because there's always something that we can learn more about. Just remaining a student, right? So I don't think the public is wrong at all. The public is basically a reflection of all of us. We see the judgmental aspect of things and we zone in on that, right? But for me, I see something else, you know, and she's not going to do any more shalaye beyond, and that's a smart thing. She's not going to do any more shalaye beyond selling these books. She's going to sell these books, all right? And I've seen enough comments of people understanding it, right? Say, you know what? We're hypocrites. I think that's the message. Like, all of us are hypocrites to a large extent, okay? It's not that we mean to be hypocrites, but, you know, we are, okay? And you have an urge right now to say, I'm not a hypocrite. Well, exactly. The point is that you feel like you're holier than thou, right? You're not different. We're all the same, okay? But that's the point. For you to feel like, you know what? No, there's no way that I don't see everything here. It's literally, you don't see everything. Especially these are people that we don't know all the way, right? So until you read the books, then maybe you can have an idea, right? But yes, so the children are on the outside of it, you know, but there's a couple of videos here that I wanted to play. You came back, sir.
Yeah.
I was calling you earlier, but you didn't hear me.
I was there, but I was doing something else. I'm
Got
going
you.
for Bible study.
Got you. You're going for Bible study now?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem, sir. I know that's how you guys are. My parents, I can't call them at this time. They're either on a conference call, a Bible study. I'm like, oh God. And then they try to call me at 8 a.m. in the morning. I say, I'm busy. I'm working. Thank you. All right. Thank you, sir. We'll talk soon. All right. So let me play some of this video. So you're not wrong, D-Love. You're not wrong at all. Okay. Tima says, I share your feelings. Now, this is all learning. Just remaining a student. It's not about knowing everything. It's about just remaining a student. Just anytime you see something that shakes you up or shakes your belief system up, just be a little bit more curious than being judgmental. The average human being would be judgmental. And that's what you've seen happen on the internet today. Not because they're wrong, because obviously there are some real events here, right, that happen. So let's let me see. Tima says, hey, Ola, I'll have your book in my Amazon card, but it is showing that I can't get it yet. No, you can't. Are you talking about number one red flag? No, you can't get it yet. Definitely not. Not until December 30. I think you can pre-order the Kindle. That's about it for now. Okay. And we finished the audiobook last week. It's in editing right now. So it's coming. Let's see. All right, so there's a video here. I'm gonna play this video from Jada. Yeah, I think this video will give us some ideas. Yeah, I think so. Let's do it. Let's see. All right, there you go. There you go.
Jada, it's so interesting, the responses to your interviews, to their book. On one side, which is the side that I reside on, I can really feel that this is in service to your soul and in service to the souls of others.
That's right.
And that you want to use your story to, in your own words, show other people how they can recognize their own worth.
Yeah.
Then we have another side that's like, Jada, why are you emasculating your husband?
Again.
Why is this all this oversharing, et cetera, et cetera? And the question that comes to mind for me is something only sacred if it's private? Can something remain sacred when it is shared publicly? And also, what is the definition of oversharing for you?
So, when we're talking about our community, it's a really deep subject, right? Especially when we're talking about our Black women. I'm talking about my sisters and I'm talking about myself. It's a very complicated thing because we have been taught to take care of everyone else first, right? And a lot of times it's one or the other, right? It's like oftentimes we don't have permission to share our stories because our stories are connected to other people, right? And so we are taught that we're to protect everyone else by all means necessary, right? And so it gets complicated because there's so many complicated dynamics within the Black community as far as Black people and how we relate to each other and what we have to deal with in the world, right? And so sometimes it's like, just be quiet so that, you know, you're not supposed to be telling your business, you know, putting your dirty laundry out there. And it's like, but what we have to understand as a community is that when we don't share and we don't share what we are learning on our journey, then we stay stuck, right? And so we have to be able to just step outside of these boxes, step outside of these ideas of what we believe keep us safe, because these are the ideas that keep us stuck, right? And check it. I know it's really hard. I was pissed too when I realized that my relationship would never be perfect.
Yeah.
I was mad as hell.
Yeah.
I was mad. So much so I was like, bunk it, I'm out of here. Right? So I get it. So I want to acknowledge that first. It's hard when you really want to hold on to an idea. It's hard when you want to hold on to a fantasy. But at some point, we got to get to real life, right? And what I am finding in this journey with Will is a deeper, more authentic kind of love and relating than that picture perfect, idealistic, unrealistic way of relating, right? And I feel like when we try to hold on to these ideas, then we never get an opportunity to see each other. None of us are perfect, just like Sway said. I'm not perfect. Will's not perfect. Our relationship's not perfect. But there is some beauty and perfection in that imperfection.
You know,
All right, so what are your thoughts about that, ladies and gentlemen in the chat? What are your thoughts about that? If you think cap, put a 1.
Stop the cap.
If you think 2, there's some points to that, you know, put 2 in the chat. Okay. If you think I don't care, if you say I don't care, somebody apparently is watching on Facebook somewhere. It's always surprising when I see somebody watching on Facebook. The algorithms don't show me love. They don't show us love on Facebook. So share if you're watching on Facebook, you know. Share if you're watching on Facebook, all right? If you say, I don't care, I don't care.
Don't care. Don't care. Don't.
Put a 3 in the chat. 1, you say cap. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
I'm always laughing. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about a million things at the same time with regards to this concept, right? If you think 2, there's some points there. If you think 3, I don't care. Let me know. Let me see what you guys are saying. Roro will say 3, I don't care. Lot to say 2 or 3. Some points, but I don't care. Roro will say, let the poor. Jesus Christ.
Let's be poor. Breathe.
Me too. But trendy topics. Lessons. 2, some points. Dila says 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is not a cap. And there's a point to it. I just don't want this to be another example of struggle love that black women. That's a good point. I've wanted to talk to that actually, because these things are very dangerous. It's a fine line, right? There's a part of it that start to feel like you're encouraging people to move mad towards a toxic relationship. That is a good point. That's a good point. I want to talk about that actually. Okay, it kept crossing my mind when we're done with the show, because I'm thinking about multiple different angles to the stories, right? The part that I lean to the most is that this is what you're looking for, somebody that have chosen to do the work with you, right? We talked about that before, right? But I forgot to tell you a very necessary ingredient. Okay, I forgot to tell you a very necessary ingredient, right? You have to be in a place emotionally where you don't feel toxic, where you don't feel like it's toxic. Don't let anybody manipulate you. Don't let anybody use Jada's story to manipulate you to stay in a situation where you feel like you are dying by the minute. Okay, and doesn't have to be something physical. When I say dying by the minute, right? You need to, at some core, I think I said it. Yeah, there has to be some level of friendship. You guys like each other. It's just when it comes to this romantic thing, it gets complicated because of unrealistic expectations. I think where they're coming from is unrealistic expectations, and how it can drown even when people are best of friends. And I think what sustained them over time is the friendship. Okay. Yes, friendship can sustain you through 7 years of separation. Yes, it can. Okay. Yes, to the extent that you might go out there and try something else from a romantic and it will burn you. Do you think August burnt her? Yes, that thing burnt her image for life. Okay, that's always going to be a visible scar. There's some scars you have on your body that is not visible. Maybe it's under here or something like that, but it's a scar. It's there, right? But the last place where you want the scar is right here on your face. That's not where you want the scar, and that's what almost August represents. And God forbid you end up with a scar on your face. Will you not live your life? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. Right? It's still a scar. It's healed. It's healed, but it's right there on your face. At some point, you will learn to live with it. Okay? You learn to live with it. Or go through some kind of plastic surgery to make the most out of it, right? If you can afford it, right? And I feel like they have enough in their emotional tank that they could afford. All right? And like they keep saying, don't try this at home. It's not for everyone because everyone's story is different. Okay? So that's a good point. Thank you for reminding me that so I can spell it out. There's no encouraging anybody to stay in struggle where you feel like other people are manipulating you to stay in it. If you feel like other people are manipulating you to stay in it, then you should back off because you're probably going to reflect that low self-esteem. Okay? But if you feel like, no, this is something I value, though I want to fight for it, don't let anybody manipulate you into backing out too soon unless we're talking about some form of abuse. Right? Some situation you're saying, no, I think there's something here. This is my friend. We're going to fight for it. And there's a friend next to you that keeps saying, let go. It will never work. No, you don't have to listen to such friends either. So it depends. It depends. Right? And that's one of the biggest words that everybody is afraid of. Depends. They're afraid of depends. So Latu says, let me say, first of all, D-Love, okay, so we addressed that. Thank you for that, D-Love. Latu says there are some points there, but don't really care. All right. But the lessons, you care about the lessons, right? There are two things in what she's saying, right? There are two things, and it's kind of skipped me right now because I went through the D-Love rabbit hole there. Pause. All right. No to struggle love. You know me. I don't support struggle love either. I don't think romantic relationships are to be endured. Okay. But I do think that anything that's worthwhile in life will shake you up. That's just life. Okay. So some people call that struggle love. That's not struggle love. That's just life. Okay. It's a fine line. No, let's not encourage this. However, I like the partnership aspect of it. If two people are on the same page, they're on the same page, they have the friendship, right? You notice that when I was talking earlier, I didn't really make sex a thing. Sex is more like a symptom in those situations. If everything else is not right, people, at least one person will not want to have sex with you, right? So, but I put it on there because if you can remember that, it goes a long way. Like, you know, not to say Jada be capping. It's word salad. I think it's the word salad that you guys don't like. But I still think you guys are capping. It's the judgmental thing coming out of you. Okay, it's the scar on our face, August and Tupac, right? The Tupac stuff is not even really a scar. I just think it's because when you had the August thing to it, it's just annoying. But this is a childhood friend, and I think when you bring August, the emasculation thing into it, then this Tupac Shakur thing becomes like much larger than what it is. They were childhood friends. Okay. In fact, there's a blog in Nigeria yesterday. I just put that laughing emoji. There's a blog in Nigeria that convinced everybody that, oh, people you never knew dated Jada and Tupac. I was like, all right. Now, do I know if they ever dated? I don't know. But I know that there's nowhere she's ever said that on public. So it's just funny to see it. It is what it is, right? So any shalaye beyond selling books is not going to help her. It only make things worse. So once they finish promoting this book, they need to go back inside. So that's the point I'm trying to make, which is, can you keep some things? Can it still be sacred when it's all out in public? They have a public life. So things will be in public, especially if a young man who fell in love with an older woman is starting to run his mouth. Unfortunately, it becomes public, right? Now, they're selling books. So are they really making it public, or they're selling books? That's you know. So that's something to think about. Are they you know, remember I told you yesterday that Will Smith is behind all of this promotion. I don't think the children know enough, right? They're just talking about the headlines. That's even if the story is true. But I also know that the headlines can absolutely destroy your family, because if people are taking the narrative and running with it, it can come back and haunt you, right? So that needs to be managed at a public relations standpoint. But that's why there is public relations, right? She seems to me like a walking contradiction. My confusion hasn't gone down all the way yet, right? Maybe if Will come and tell you guys how it feels, maybe you guys will feel better. Maybe Will Smith can come and tell us that it's not emasculated, right? Oh yeah, by the way, Will did make a statement. I'm gonna play that. That woman sounds like she's been battling negative emotions for decades. That's a fact, and she admitted to that. She will be on forever healing journey to stay alive. That's why everything is deep. Yeah, that's why there's a lot of word salad, right? They will do red table talk after to say gotcha. You know, there's one of the statements that came out yesterday is that they're planning to write a book together. Will and Jada are planning to write a book together, and guess who's going to cover that when that comes out? Guess. Anyway, let's see how Will feels about all of this, right? Because I don't know, you know. The lessons here is very simple. If you have something solid with a person and you've chosen to do life with them and fight the forces of evil with them, don't let anybody tell you otherwise, regardless of what it looks like on the surface. And also, in that same token, make sure you're not engaged in struggle love. If one partner is not on that same page with you, you need to let them go. I think that should be very simple, right? Regardless of what the scars are, right? Anyway, let's see. Somebody said August. You want a statement from August too? Do you want a statement from August? Anybody want a statement from August? I don't think you want that, right? Anyway, let me see here. Let's see what Will has to say about all of this. You guys want to know what Will has to say? You heard his voice already, right? Let's see what Will has to say about this. Let's do it. Official statements. Anybody heard this so far? No? Anybody in the chat already heard this statement yet? Before I play it. Did you guys see this? Oh no. Anyone has seen this yet? Nobody's seen this yet? So you guys just wait for me to bring it to you, huh? You haven't seen it? Nope. If you've seen it, say 1. If you haven't seen it, say 2. D-Love hasn't seen it. You guys are busy professionals. You're busy. I feel you. But that's why we have the platform. At least you have a platform where you can see this trendy stuff with some lessons around it, right? Yes, so we'll wait for you. Oh, so you haven't seen it. Okay, let me play. You guys want to? If I could, Indomie, you're ready. Let's see what Will has to say. Official statement. This was posted when he posted. I thought you guys would have seen it. That's a day ago that he decided to make this statement right here. Anyway, let me play. Let me stop playing and just play it.
For you, here's the thing. So, my opinion of the. I got something for you. Here's the thing. So, my opinion of the.
All right. So I don't know. There's somebody out there that will still look at this and say, anyway, let me ask you guys. Cap, if you think it's capping, put a 1. If you think it's emasculated, put a 2 in the chat. You think it's capping, put a 1 in the chat. If you think it's emasculated, put a 2 in the chat. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Let me play it again while we're doing that.
I got something for you. Here's the thing. So, my opinion of the.
Anyway, again, let me see your answer. So, listen, I know. Timothy, I saw it. You guys need to follow. I posted this yesterday on the short section. You should have seen it. Right? Roro say waste of my time. They just trolling. Are they just trolling? Are you sure? At least the lessons are real, right? The lessons I extract are real, right? And you can see the pattern here that is consistent. Even before he said it, all the way till now, right? They're consistent, right? 3, 4, it's all for the money. Lobatum, is it for the money? There is money behind this, I promise you. That's why I said if it wasn't that they're selling books, I would call it they're talking too much, right? But I think the journey they're sharing in the book, and of course making boatloads of money, they probably collected $1 million advance, at least for the book, in addition to all the royalties that will come after that, right? So I just feel like I think their books will be revisited 5, 10, 20 years from now. Their books will be revisited because at that time everybody and their romantic love life will already be in the bottle because all of us are still capping. It's that bad, okay? Yeah, it's that bad. And then you will need some non-conventional wisdom, right? The ones that don't paint human beings as perfect when we all know that human beings are not perfect, right? Yes, you're gonna see more and more of that. Okay, so let me see, what did they say? None of the above. Both of them are good behind the door. I think they are good behind the door. I think the part that we need to pay attention to also to give us some resolve here is that they've gone through shege. Don't get that twisted. Don't get that twisted. All right. They've cried their balls out for years. Okay. What they are doing is almost impossible. Obviously, you can see the public reaction, right? What they're doing is almost impossible. Okay. Especially considering that Jada gets to get rich, even bigger rich, if she divorces Will, if she's truly a Jezebel, manipulative, controlling Jezebel as the public paints it today. If she's truly one that she stands to make stupid amount of money and control his life, okay? Not particularly from child support, from all those years of work they've done together. They literally built the empire together. So it's half at worst, right? She will make a lot more money than she will make from selling the book, at least in this instance. Okay. So when they say don't try this at home, I think that's what they said potentially the name of their book is going to be. I think there's something to it. Okay. I think there's something to it. You know, August got caught in the web of dysfunctionality. If you just go hibernate, no need to speak. August might be all right. But August has issues. I don't know if you know his story. He has serious issues, which is why some people are saying Jada took advantage of him. But there's nothing new about that. So he has to deal with his own personal problems. Rose, I feel they could have presented this in another way. How? Elaborate. What do you mean? How could they have presented that it can be this bad and you can still walk through anything in life? Forget marriage for a second though. Forget about marriage, because I think we're stuck on the marriage thing. Just relationships in general, which you don't get to escape from for the most part, right? I know siblings that don't talk to each other. They haven't spoken to each other for 30 years. They're still alive. I know them. They're close, very close to me. Okay? Because they can't get through a simple misunderstanding, right? When you mix that on together with spirituality, a pastor said you are the witch. Pastor, when you mix that all together, I don't know if you have an idea the gratitude of what we're talking about, or the magnitude of what we're talking about. Not gratitude, Jerry, magnitude. I said gratitude, right? Do you have an idea how difficult gratitude is for human beings? Just I thank God for today, that I woke up today. Do you have an idea of how big of a deal that is? I think the public has something else coming for them in general. All right, the dating scene is a cesspool. It's very bad. Marriage is very bad for a lot of people. They've been trying everything else. You know, religious brouhaha. You know, Tony Gaskin keep running around town talking about people. I like his message, but there's something that I'm noticing. There's something extremely judgmental about his methods. As against a Tim Ross. I want you to pay attention to it. Those of you that listen to the both of them, and then we'll talk more about it, right? I want you to pay attention to it, okay? But I like those gentlemen. They're definitely 10,000 years better than the manosphere, okay? Let's see. I see you, Tim. I'm coming to you. Will and Jada are good together like that. Each on the other side of the same coin. Who knows? We shall see. What we know is that they're putting on a front in public right now together, and it looks like it's one of the same. Until I mention Tupac, and they're like, "What do you mean?" Let me see here. Let me bring Tima Jare. Tima, how are you doing?
Yeah, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good.
How are you doing since the last 48 hours?
I mean, I feel a little better than yesterday.
You mean 2 days ago? That's been 2 days now.
Oh,
I wasn't
that
here
was 2 days ago. Oh, that was not yesterday. Okay. Yeah. I think I feel a little. I have more understanding, and then when I'm watching, like every time I'm watching like different interview, I think I watch with more of my own internal lens. You know what I mean? Like I'm not as judgmental as I was before.
Right.
But this is the thing. I can't get over the fact that Jada dated Augusta. You know, like it's like I'm not even based this on their relationship as a couple. You understand what I mean?
Not now. You're talking about that moment when that happened.
Right, that moment. Yeah, because it's like same way like you will look at relationship when a 14-year-old is running after a 19-year-old. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, whether it's he or she to he. You know, I don't think a 40-year-old have a business with a 19-year-old, really, unless as a 40-year-old you have some kind of internal struggle that you haven't dealt with yet. Right. And for me, that says a lot. That I'm not saying Jada of today, but that says a lot of Jada
about that person, right? Does it say a lot about how Jezebelish she was, or how low she must have found herself? Which one would you say is more like? As in wicked. Do you say how wicked she was, or how low she must have gone? Which one of it?
I wouldn't say wicked, but I was probably gonna say manipulative in a way.
Manipulative because she wanted some bula from a young man. What's manipulative about that?
It's like a baby. It's like I mean, how much bola are you looking for?
You're talking about hurting the young man.
Right.
Oh, how old exactly is the young man? Because this is now becoming cap. Let me see.
He was his son's friend, like 20 or something, you know.
No, he wasn't his 20. He's 31 years old now. You guys are talking like he's 17 right now still. Stop the cap.
Really?
Stop the cap. He's 31 now. Okay.
Okay. That was like how many years ago?
It was I think they came out on the Red Table Talk 3 years ago. He was definitely past 25. Does it make it's still disgusting comparing to our age? I'm just saying, I'm starting to hearing that people are saying it's like he was 16 or minor. No, it wasn't a minor.
Okay, forgive me then, Lord, because I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at Jada's side eyes for that reason. And then, you know, the funny thing is they say he was in some kind of mental struggle himself. And I feel like, you know, if someone is in a mental struggle, you don't want to take advantage. I mean, I'm not saying she is, but it looks like she take advantage of. I don't know. It's just too messy for me.
It's messy. It is messy. It's messy.
Yeah,
Let me ask you a question. Do you have anyone in your life right now? It's not necessarily a romantic partner, right? Somebody in your life, could be a friend, more likely probably more like a family member. And once upon a time, they did something that you just like, wow, you did this much, like Osheito, right? But you don't really have a choice. And since then, you've kind of healed. But in that moment, you know what you felt when you found out that person did that thing. Do you have anybody, extended family, cousin, anything like that?
You know what? I do. Actually, this was between me and my sister. Something happened between us years ago, right? But
is that your sister?
Time, like my own sister. Like, I mean, it's not, This was a long time ago, right? But it's at the time when that happened, I don't think I get hurt. Like, it wasn't difficult for me to get over it. I guess because it's my sister.
So let's not use that example. Do you have somebody that's close, kind of like that, and you thought you would never talk to this person ever again in your life, but they're family, so somehow you're stuck?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, currently I have a cousin that I don't talk to currently.
But you used to talk?
Yeah, that we used to talk, yes.
All right, but are you guys like thousands of miles apart?
Yes.
That's what makes it easy to it makes it a little bit easier.
I mean, I guess if we see each other,
if you have to see each other around each other from time to time, do you think it'd be harder to be around that person, come to family events?
No, not for me, because again, I'm just gonna maintain my cool, you know. It's just that I kind of remove myself a little bit because we are going different direction relationship wise. But like if I see her in person, I'm not gonna disrespect or angry with her in any way. We're still gonna be cordial. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's all it takes. Cordial.
Really?
As human beings, you can't get stagnant at cordial. You can't.
No, really. I mean, I can do that with anyone pretty much, but I don't think I'm mature enough to do that in a romantic relationship. Right? Like if I'm gonna.
So that's because of your experience, right? That's why I said they had some level of friendship that was just that strong. Like she kept saying, I couldn't break a promise, right? That I made.
Yeah.
She said I couldn't make that break, but the I is the I part of it is the keyword, right? It's unique to her. She's not trying to tell everybody that they shouldn't break promises. It's unique to her and that relationship. She couldn't break the promise she made to this person to just exit. But they were separated and they came up with a rule to everybody just go and do themselves and find themselves happy. But when you understand how that works, if you imagine it, it's probably hard for any romantic partner to come in between there, right? To the point where a 22, 23-year-old man is saying, Will give me his blessing. You see, that one is delusional, right?
No, I couldn't get it. Oh my God! Like,
right? Why is it that the public would not be able to say, "Wait, he gave you his blessing"? Are you delusional? What does that even mean?
Right? What does that mean?
Right? So, I can see through all of that. Like I said, they gave themselves shege because they had that passionate thing between them. I'm not saying necessarily toxic. It's probably more so a friendship. They can laugh, they can do this, they can say we're not together, and but they are cock blocking other romantic partners from coming to their life. They have children together, right? That's what I mean. When you see yourselves as family in that way, like if you have a sibling, most people have a sibling. If you are more than two, I don't have that type of sibling because we're only two. But if you have more than two, you have a sibling there's a distance of some sort. You guys kind of gang up against each other, right? And there's that sibling that probably said something behind your back where you felt in that moment you felt like I will never talk to this person ever again in my life. But because you have to be around each other, then you became cordial. And then human beings, the way our brain works, we look into the past with rose gold color lens. If you back off of each other and there's cordial, at least cordial, right? You remember good times. You only reflect on good times. If they keep being in your face and it's basbos, you only remember the toxic, right? But if you can be cordial at least, that's all it takes. You cannot be stagnant. There's no such thing as stagnant. It's either you're growing or you're dying. In terms of relationships too, there's no such thing as it's just stagnant. It's either we're growing bond or it's dying. That's how it works. It's just stagnant, you know. So that's why I say if you have cordial at least, and you have to be around that person from time to time, if you have patience for yourself, it can only grow from there, right? It can only grow from there because what's happening? You are creating new experiences by default, right?
Yeah.
And those new experiences are replacing, like they're literally drowning out that toxic experience at that point, right? So when people say I have trust issue, right? I said you have trust issue. Congratulations, you're like the rest of us, okay? Well, you can rebuild trust, right? First of all, make sure you're not pouring from an empty cup, but also allow yourself. Create new experiences with this person. You don't have to force trust in them. Trust has no other choice than to creep back into that situation because you're creating new experiences. But that's only if you are patient enough to, or you are positioned enough to have new experiences with them, right? So I tell even people that want their partner back, I tell them like, relax. Heaven is not going to follow out the skies. If they still have to be in your life, maybe because of your kids or anything like that, those are opportunities to showcase your new self. You create new experiences. Before you know it, you will end up on top of each other, inside each other.
Oh my God.
As opposed to, if you have to be around each other, right? Now, this is on the part of the person who wants the other person back, not the other person that doesn't want. Right? If you want the other person back, it's your patience that's being tested ultimately, and it's your own self-esteem that's being tested. If you can't relax and just know that there's no guarantee, and this person might never come back to you, and be okay with that. If you're not okay with what I just said, you will push them further and further away because anxiety will overwhelm everything. You just keep pushing them further away because it's to show in your behavior that you're anxious. But if you say, well, they made a choice not to be together, you respect it, you leave it alone, you let them know if they change their mind. And you focus on your own life, right? And then if you do that just enough, if you do that, it's highly unlikely that they will find anything better than that out there. They will try.
Yeah, I hope my ex never found anything better than me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
But I hear you.
Yeah, as long as we're talking about human beings that care about something. If it's a psychopath or a sociopath, I'm not talking about those people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. MOP, you are now saying, how can Will give his blessings to August? Whatever he's talking, he knows what he's talking about, right? I'm just trying to, just like you and I'm trying to picture.
I don't think he kind of, I don't know if he like verbally vomited around, maybe like by action. The
by
other
actions,
guy,
he's around.
Yeah, I mean, he saw me. He said, I guess so. He just think that as a blessing. Like, I mean, he's not worried about it. Like, he's okay with it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So best case scenario, Will said, "You have my blessing, bro. You want to date my ex-wife? You want to start blowing the back of my ex-wife, the mother of my kids out? You have my."
No way.
That's the best case scenario, right? The other flip side of it is like, you're the friend of my son. I've seen you around. You're a superstar, rock star. Your music, we're good. You're in relationship with Jada. We're separated. It's weird, but whatever. You guys okay? I don't have control of that, right? Is that will giving blessings? At that point, if they raised you well, you said this man will kill me.
I know. Oh
Right?
I mean,
Right?
he's young, and you also 27 is young, man.
Yeah, Roro said 22, 23, I guess, but old enough to, when I was 23, if a man tells me that about his ex, I'm not hanging around the house. Maybe I will sneak do it if it's that bad for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not coming to the public to come and tell the public that Will give me, bless me. I sold my soul into that relationship.
Right.
And by the way, they all keep saying relationship. They never use the word dating. They've never used the word sex.
It was a relationship, wasn't it?
Yeah, they said relationship, but that could mean anything. I don't know what that means. They could be fingering each other's brain. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
We don't know. That's not to
but
justify it. It's still terrible, but I'm just saying.
Augusta, what's his name? He ended up dating now he's in a relationship with another guy now, not even a woman anymore.
Like right after, not now. That was right after the whole news broke.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can't take him too seriously. Like today, I was supposed to. I'm just gonna round up. We'll cover the rest of the story tomorrow. I thought I was gonna talk about Very Dark Man today. I was telling my wife, I can't take Very Dark Man serious. There's some people when they talk, I can't take them too seriously. I just laugh.
Oh yeah, the guy from Nigeria, right? The TikTok guy.
Yeah.
It's been a while I watched him.
Like this guy makes sense. I guess. Okay, if you say so. All right, it makes sense. Anybody can make sense. Even donkeys can make sense of the street.
That's right.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Tima, for coming up. Any other thoughts you wanted to share?
No, that's it. I just came for Jada. I mean, I have to back off Jada, but slowly for surely I will.
Yeah, it's that scar on our face. I think you guys will forget the scar is there after a while.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
All right, talk soon.
All right.
Bye. All right. So the main topic today, Dating Chronicles, the reality. I want to talk about that really quickly, then we round up. Let me see. Not to say, I don't see not to know. Not to say, one thing I'm grateful for is me and my sibling disagree, but don't fight each other. That's a blessing. Oh my God. Some families are toxic. You have no idea. You have no idea. But God bless you. You come from one of us. You come for one of us. Some family are so toxic among themselves, siblings, and if you still come for one of them, they will fight you together and they will go back to their malice. Have you seen that before? You never seen that before? Oh. Not to
He shock you.
yeah. Young, energetic, and strong. Okay, emphasis on strong. He's a swinger just like Will. Wahala. Is that rumors or one of them said that? At least August need to say that. August probably said some things in his lyrics, right? Because speaking of somebody who doesn't know how to shut up, if you're getting kwekus and you're enjoying it, you can't shut up. You know why you can't shut up? Because your issues are probably deeper than this couple too, But he will learn. He will learn, right? Not to say I have seen, yeah. So let's round this up today. With this last lesson. I'll be right back.